right now on 15 News Now.
15 News Now is working on these following stories for you. Widespread flooding has wreaked havoc across at least 12 states. Also, members of Congress and their staff will still give financial aid for Obamacare. Plus, the trial of Major Nidal Hassan, the accused Fort Hood shooter, is moving forward. And I'm tracking more threats for some thunderstorms for the weekend. For coverage you can count on, 15 News Now starts right now.
Coverage you can count on. 15 News Now starts now.
Thank you for joining us for 15 News Now. I'm Dustin Kopp. Our top story at this hour: widespread flooding has wreaked havoc across at least 12 states. Rescue and cleanup continues across Tennessee Friday after a deadly flash floods left survivors stranded on rooftops. More than 7 inches of rain fell in just 3 hours in parts of the state. In Madison, Wisconsin, firefighters rescued the Marlin family's sleeping 5-week-old baby from the attic. The Marlins had taken shelter there to escape the water rapidly rising into their homes.
Next thing you know, we're in the attic trying to get the babies upstairs. It's hard. It's scary. You don't know what the water's going to do. So just lose it all.
In South Central Missouri, rescue teams searched for a 23-year-old whose car was swept up in the flash flood Tuesday. The floods have claimed the lives of at least one woman and a child. Travelers at Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport witnessed a silent protest Friday by airline service workers who want to call attention to what they say are unfair practices by their employer, Baggage Airline Guest Services, Inc., a contractor for Delta and American Airlines. The company is allegedly demanding that tipped employees report a minimum of $25 in gratuities every day, whether or not they earn them, and disciplining those who don't comply. Wheelchair attendant Rashad Grant is one of the few willing to speak publicly for fear of retaliation.
If you don't put the required $25 a day in tips, then you'll be suspended or eventually terminated.
Grant and others walked silently through airport terminals with their mouths taped shut Friday to protest what they say are company efforts to silence them. A representative from Bags Inc. denies the company places a minimum on the amount of tips employees must report. Many passenger service workers, including wheelchair attendants and sky caps at Fort Lauderdale, earn the state minimum wage for tipped employees, which is less than $5 an hour. Grant says most days he comes home with $5 or $6 in his pocket from tips, and add that to his hourly rate. He only brings home about $400 every 2 weeks for about 30 hours a week. He works another job to just support his family of 5.
I have to come into work very tired and sleepy, but I have no choice because I have to support my family.
Currently, the passenger service workers are non-union employees, but they are trying to organize. Union 32 BJSEIU, which represents other service workers, says Bags Inc. has retaliated against employees. The union has filed charges with the National Labor Relations Board on their behalf. The United States has escalated its drone war in Yemen, killing 12 terror suspects in 3 strikes Thursday. That's 34 al-Qaeda suspects killed by drone attacks in less than 2 weeks. The action comes amid an ongoing global terror alert. This week, the U.S. and Britain evacuated diplomatic staff from Yemen's capital after learning of the threatened attack. Meanwhile, 19 diplomatic posts in the Middle East and Africa have been temporarily closed. The State Department is now urging the Americans to not travel to Pakistan. Non-essential personnel in Lahore were ordered to evacuate due to a specific threat. Officials say al-Qaeda may be getting help from the nearly 2,000 prisoners who recently escaped from jail in Iraq, Libya, and Pakistan.
It's prudent to protect lives, and it's certainly important to keep the terrorists from being able to carry out a truly devastating attack.
It's possible they could be suicide bombers. It's possible they could become combatants. Some of them may have capabilities in terms of bomb making, which is always of concern.
Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia has arrested 2 foreigners who have ties to al-Qaeda in Yemen. Saudi police say they were plotting imminent suicide attacks in the region. Well, temperatures across the area definitely on the warm side today and continuing to be warm this evening. 89 degrees at 7 p.m. with a cloudy sky. We're going to see clouds throughout the evening hours. 9 p.m. temperature 83. By midnight down to 78. More details on your weekend weather forecast coming up in just a little bit later in the newscast. And when we come back, members of Congress and their staff will still get financial aid for Obamacare. You're watching 15 News Now, coverage you can count on.
I needed coverage that I could afford, so I called ICANN.
When I lost my job, I needed health benefits from my family, so I called ICANN.
With my history, I couldn't get health insurance, so I called ICANN.
Going without health insurance? One call can change it all. Rates too high? You've been turned down. Or just need to save money. ICANN has plans to meet your needs, no matter your income. We have plans that include coverage for doctor visits, prescriptions, hospital stays, surgery, emergency room visits, and the list goes on. But wait, there's more. ICANN has programs that connect you with licensed doctors round the clock from wherever you are. And as a special bonus, if you call right now, we'll send you a no-cost, no-obligation Humana prescription drug savings card just for calling.
That's a savings of up to 50% off your prescriptions at 54,000 participating pharmacies nationwide.
You're watching 15 News Now with Fred Dawkins and Dustin Kopp. 15 News Now continues.
Welcome back. Members of Congress and their staff will still get financial aid from the government to help pay for any new health care plans over Obamacare. The government has paid for the majority of health care premiums for Congress and their staff in the past. But the statute in Obamacare law said they had to buy their health care plans through the new insurance exchanges, which would have been a huge increase in cost. But new guidelines of personnel management will let the members and their staff keep their financial aid from the government. Although members of Congress are on summer break, many expect to get an earful about Obamacare when they visit their home districts. As an October budget deadline approaches, opponents are ramping up a nationwide campaign to defund Obamacare. Gary Lane has more.
A new anti-Obamacare television ad campaign is coming soon to American living rooms. This one is sponsored by a group called the Young Guns Network, featuring a group of ad execs trying to figure out how to sell Obamacare to Americans.
I'm looking for ideas. You, what about the research?
Most recent surveys show that most Americans oppose it, and unions realize it will shatter their benefits.
We're supposed to sell this junk?
Can we change the name?
Like?
Obama-Rama.
No.
Health Fund.
No.
Fun Care. I like Fun Care.
No.
People like free. Mash them together. Free health care. Get it?
I think you nailed it.
Look. Not buying it, the commercial asks? Apparently so, according to one recent poll. 66% of likely voters agree that Congress should defund the Affordable Care Act. 26% disagree. 86% of Republicans surveyed said it should be defunded. 48% of Democrats. And even a Washington Post ABC News poll found that moderate Democrats are starting to turn against Obamacare. Only 46% support it today, compared to 57% last year. Meanwhile, FreedomWorks is launching a campaign urging supporters to burn their Obamacare card. But Obamacare opponents aren't the only ones trying to rally their forces. Organizing for Action, formerly part of President Obama's presidential campaign, is spending more than $1 million on a campaign defending Obamacare.
What's the impact of Obamacare? The truth is, Americans are already seeing the benefits. She's seeing more seniors for free wellness visits. He received a $150 rebate from his health insurance company. And next year, she can expand her small business thanks to tax credits that cover up to half of her workers' health insurance.
But critics say small businesses are already reducing worker hours to avoid providing them with costly insurance. They say this means Obamacare will create a part-time American labor force. Only 9 legislative days will remain once Congress returns from recess, so passing a new budget by October 1st may be unlikely. Most Capitol Hill observers expect a vote on another continuing resolution to keep the federal government running and Obamacare temporarily funded. Gary Lane, CBN News.
Up next on 15 News Now, the trial of Major Nadel Hassan, the accused Fort Hood shooter, is moving forward. Details when we come back to 15 News Now. We'll be right back.
Health insurance update. This just in for all uninsured Americans with or without pre-existing conditions. The recent health care bill will not take effect until at least 2014, leaving families and individuals lacking health insurance with no immediate solution to their concerns. Meanwhile, medical problems continue to be the #1 cause of bankruptcies. Here's the good news. A health insurance hotline has been established to provide affordable health insurance for all uninsured Americans, and yes, uninsured Americans with pre-existing conditions. Call the number on your screen now, and in less than 10 minutes, you could receive a choice of affordable plans from the Hotline Network. This is not a discount card. You will have access to doctors, hospitals, dental care, infant care, and emergency services. Call the Health Insurance Hotline now and get you and your family covered today.
Call 800-794-0825. That's 800-794-0825. Call now.
And welcome back to 15 News Now. The trial of Major Nadel Hassan, the accused Fort Hood shooter, is moving forward with emotional testimony from eyewitnesses. Hassan is on trial for killing 13 people and wounding more than 30 at the Texas Army base in 2009. His backup legal team asked to be excused, saying the defendant has a death wish. But presiding judge Colonel Tara Osborne denied their request. Efra Graham has more.
A firm rebuke for Major Nadel Hassan's standby defense team. Presiding Judge Colonel Tara Osborne told the attorneys to get back to work. They want to replace Hassan, who's acting as his own defense attorney, saying he's trying to get himself executed. When they argued against the judge's decision, calling it a violation of their professional ethics, Osborne said, quote, "I will make it easy for you. I've given you an order, and that relieves you of every ethical liability." The lawyers plan to appeal that ruling. Meanwhile, testimony has resumed. Eyewitnesses taking to the stand described the chaos of the 2009 shooting rampage. Nurse Sergeant Inga Campbell discovered Staff Sergeant Justin DeCrow dead. She had just finished helping him get a medical waiver so he could deploy. Campbell described the scene to the jury saying, quote, "I just saw blood. He was out. I just couldn't. There was no breath." Another eyewitness said she heard Private Francesca Velez pleading with Hassan. Velez had discovered she was pregnant while on deployment and was at the Readiness Center to process out when Hassan started shooting. She said Velez stared Hassan in the eyes, begging, "My baby, my baby." Then there was a shot, and her voice stopped. Sergeant First Class Maria Guerrera described what she saw in the moments after the shooting, her voice breaking as she told prosecutors, I see bodies everywhere, and I see blood. No one is moving. There was no movement. There was no sound. So I yelled out, 'Is everybody okay?' I started hearing, 'Help me, I'm bleeding, I've been shot, help me.'" Hassan remained silent while in court. He avoided eye contact and only objected once to testimony. He's yet to ask a single question.
That was Efra Graham reporting. The trial is expected to take weeks, possibly months. More emotional testimony is still to come as many of those who were wounded take the witness stand. North Florida Community College's Community Theater will present The Wizard of Oz on Saturday at the Van H. Priest Auditorium. 2 showtimes are being offered on Saturday, a matinee at 2 p.m. and an evening show at 7 p.m. Tickets are $6 for general admission and available in advance or the night of the performance. The Wizard of Oz tickets are on sale now at the NFCC College Advancement Office, which is in Building 32 on the NFCC campus. For more information or to purchase tickets, call 850-973-1653. Well, federal forecasters are slightly reducing their prediction for a busy Atlantic hurricane season. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration updated its hurricane season forecast Thursday, trimming back the number of hurricanes they expect this year to be between 6 and 9. The forecast calls for 3 to 5 of those hurricanes to be major, with winds greater than 110 miles per hour. Forecasters say there remains a 70% chance that the season will be busier than normal. A normal year has 12 named storms, 6 hurricanes, and 3 major storms. Hurricane season started in June and runs until the end of November. So far, there have only been 4 named storms. The updated forecast calls for 13 to 19 named storms this year. When we come back, I'll have your latest storm tracker weather forecast. The threat of some more thunderstorms throughout the area will be here for the weekend. I'll give you all the details when we come back on 15 News Now.
I can't travel. I can't sit for very long. I can't stand for very long. I can't sleep. It's difficult to find any joy. It's unbelievable how just a few months of taking Nopalea, how it's changed my life, how much better I feel. You just get a total appreciation, new appreciation for life that I haven't had in so long.
With over 8 million bottles of Nopalea sold, we know it will work for you. Pick up the phone and call now. Learn how to get your 32-ounce bottle of Nopalea free. You'll also receive the Secret Killer Special Report that talks about the dangers associated with inflammation and an audio CD that explains the science behind the Nopal Superfruit.
I just know it worked, and it helped me, and it'll help you too.
Get on the road to wellness now.
I needed coverage that I could afford, so I called ICANN.
When I lost my job, I needed health benefits from my family, so I called ICANN.
With my history, I couldn't get health insurance, so I called ICANN.
Going without health insurance? One call can change it all. Rates too high? You've been turned down, or just need to save money. ICANN has plans to meet your needs, no matter your income. We have plans that include coverage for doctor visits, prescriptions, hospital stays, surgery, emergency room visits, and the list goes on. But wait, there's more. ICANN has programs that connect you with licensed doctors round the clock from wherever you are. And as a special bonus, if you call right now, we'll send you a no-cost, no-obligation Humana prescription drug savings card just for calling.
That's a savings of up to 50% off your prescriptions at 54,000 participating pharmacies nationwide.
So don't wait. Call ICANN right now.
Here is your Storm Tracker forecast.
And welcome back. Cloudy skies out there right now and a temperature of 91 degrees, but look what it feels like, near 100 at 98. 73 is our current dew point with 55% humidity and a southeast wind at 3 miles per hour. Throughout the area, we're going to still track some more thunderstorms, and we're also going to be seeing a wet pattern sticking around for a while, and temperatures will be 90 degrees or hotter throughout the area. We do have showers and thunderstorms scattered in nature for most of the Big Bend. The further north you go, there is more chances of thunderstorms. They're isolated, but here in the Big Bend and Florida area, we're just going to continue to see these off and on showers and thunderstorms. Here's what our forecast looks like this evening. Cloudy skies throughout the evening, 89 degrees at 7 p.m., 83 by 9, by midnight 78. Here's what our forecast for your lows for tonight. We're still going to be on the warm side throughout the Big Bend, but 75 degrees does it for our overnight low. Cloudy skies with a chance of an isolated thunderstorm, southeast wind 5 to 10. For tomorrow, 94 is definitely a hot day. Scattered thunderstorms, southeast wind shifting to a south wind 5 to 10. And the big 7-day forecast shows, of course, more thunderstorms for the area. 96 on Sunday, 91 though, a little bit cooler on Monday. Then we're dropping off into the 80s for the rest of the week. Don't forget, you can get the latest weather information on our website, WSFD15.com. Up next on 15 News Now, a fun, healthy habit every teen should consider. That's today's Focus on the Family with Dr. Bill Meyer. And we also look at the new kids film, Planes. 15 News Now, we'll be right back. This is coverage you can count on.
Mom! Mom? Oh, no.
This mom was lucky that her daughter happened to stop by. Can your mom or dad reach a phone in such an emergency? The solution is Life Alert. Life Alert saves a life from a catastrophe every 11 minutes.
Linda, thank you for finding Life Alert for me. I feel much safer having it.
Whenever my mother needed help, Life Alert was there.
Because of Life Alert, my mother's life was saved.
Life Alert definitely saved my mother-in-law's life that day. There's no doubt about it.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-821-5206. That's 1-800-821-5206. Call now, 1-800-821-5206. For a free brochure, call 1-800-821-5206. 1-800-821-5206.
I needed coverage that I could afford, so I called ICANN.
When I lost my job, I needed health benefits from my family. So I called ICANN.
With my history, I couldn't get health insurance, so I called ICANN.
Going without health insurance? One call can change it all. Rates too high? You've been turned down, or just need to save money. ICANN has plans to meet your needs, no matter your income. We have plans that include coverage for doctor visits, prescriptions, hospital stays, surgery, emergency room visits, and the list goes on. But wait, there's more. ICANN has programs that connect you with licensed doctors round the clock from wherever you are. And as a special bonus, if you call right now, we'll send you a no-cost, no-obligation Humana prescription drug savings card just for calling.
That's a savings of up to 50% off your prescriptions at 54,000 participating pharmacies nationwide.
So don't wait. Call ICANN right now.
Welcome back to 15 News Now. Dealing with emotions is something we all have to do. In today's Focus on the Family with Dr. Bill Meyer, he introduces us to an effective method for doing that, best started during the most emotional years of all.
It started when I was in middle school, and I just wrote about anything I thought about, really.
16-year-old Jamie has filled up half a dozen journals since then. Notebooks packed with her personal reflections, hopes, and dreams. Journaling gives kids an excellent outlet for all those inner emotions.
Every teen that we know is on a personal search for identity, and journaling can answer some of those questions. It's a great idea to begin journaling in your teen years, because if you can master something at 13, 14, and 15, it's more likely that you will carry that on through your adult years.
And journaling is actually a healthy habit for anyone, because writing down our feelings can help us cope with them. For teens, recording their thoughts now will give them a measuring stick for later.
It's being able to see how much I've grown over the past couple of years, seeing from what kind of experiences I've had, what I got out of those.
For you to look back and to see how you've grown is just a tremendous boost to your self-esteem, and it helps you realize, oh, I am meeting some of my goals.
She's always been real expressive, good with words, whether verbally or written. So this is a good way for her to be able to express her concerns and fears and hopes and everything else.
How can you encourage your teen to begin journaling? Well, providing them with a really cool notebook or journal is a great start.
I use just a notebook with maybe a fun cover or something like that, and that really helps show your personality.
Looking at a blank page can be a bit intimidating at first. And so start out with just some easy things like what you're feeling right now. I'm feeling apprehensive about the English test that's coming up, or I feel excited about tonight's basketball game. Easy things like that that you can write down quickly.
When kids get the hang of writing in a journal, they can move on to any topic under the sun. For Focus on the Family, I'm Dr. Bill Meyer.
Dr. Bill Meyer reminds parents that if they want their teens to be comfortable writing in a journal, it needs to be private, meaning nobody else reads it unless the child shares it. For more valuable information on life's issues, relationships, and family, visit our website, WSFD15.com, and click on the Focus on the Family link. Today's Plugged In Movie Review looks at the new kids' film, Planes.
For flying out loud. In the movie Planes, anthropomorphized cars, planes, trucks, and trains live in their own little workaday world. They've got jobs to do and talking vehicular pals to see them through. But for some of the mechanical populace, just doing what you were made to do isn't quite enough.
Well, there you go, Dusty.
Thanks, Chuck.
No problem.
Dusty Crop Hopper, for instance, doesn't want to simply spray fertilizer all day.
It's the wrong fuel. Dusty!
He longs to fly among the P-51s and turboprops and race in the renowned Wings Around the Globe air race. He may not be sleek and super powerful like those other planes, but he's got heart. He also has friends in the form of a fuel truck best pal named Chug, a forklift mechanic named Dottie, and a war veteran flight coach named Skipper.
That was awesome!
It's not going to be a glide through the park, though. The returning air race champion Rip Slinger will commit every dirty trick possible to make sure Dusty limps back to the farm where he belongs. This Disney animation, set in the world of Pixar's Cars, feels like a tale we've all flown, driven, and seen before. It still has a certain underdog charm that will keep kids strapped in for the full flight. Lessons of fair play, hard work, integrity, and solid friendship are delivered with the precision of a well-tuned engine. The missteps are minor and include an occasional bathroom gag. So, I'll be giving Planes a high-flying 4.5 whirling propellers out of 5 for family friendliness. For more on this film, or really anything else you'll find at your local box office, visit us at PluggedIn.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Plugging you into the movies, I'm Bob Waliszewski for Focus on the Family's Plugged In Movie Review.
For more valuable information on current movies, DVD releases, as well as music, games, and TV shows, visit our website, WSFD15.com, and click on the PluggedIn.com link. We'll be right back.
As I get ready to go into surgery, I remind myself what it's about. It's about God. It's about caring. It's about trust. It's about respect. It's about back pain. It's about neck pain. It's about questions. It's about answers. It's about people, not just patients. It's about you. It's about us. It is Heartland Spine. Changing lives, saving lives. That's what we do.
Welcome back to 15 News Now. By the time this next story is over, 3 more people will have suffered from a stroke in this country. It happens nearly 800,000 times a year. Even if they survive, 8 out of 10 stroke patients will lose at least some of their movement in one of their arms. But a new device could change that. As Clark Powell shows us, a new high-tech bionic brace could not only help stroke patients function better now, it just might restore movement in their arms in the future.
Even after years of struggling with paralysis in her left arm, Sabrina Pridham says it's still hard to believe that her life all changed in a matter of seconds. Sabrina was actually taking lessons from a professional race car driver when trouble struck.
When I turned my neck to talk to him, my carotid artery dissected immediately, causing a stroke.
Sabrina would spend the next 2 years in rehab learning to walk and function all over again. But like most stroke survivors, the one thing doctors couldn't do is give her full use of her arm.
About 80% of stroke survivors have some sort of upper extremity impairment, and stroke is the leading cause of disability in the whole country. So there's a lot of stroke survivors out there who have this problem.
So Stephen Page of Ohio State University Medical Center is taking a new approach to rehab by using this so-called bionic arm. When it senses muscles firing, it takes over, extending, lifting, and moving paralyzed arms, which not only helps patients now, but could help them permanently.
The repetition seems to turn on the brain, which is called neuroplasticity, cause the brain to rewire around the damaged area after the stroke and actually restore some movement.
That's an idea that appeals to Sabrina. Typically, survivors only have a few months to show improvement in their arms, or doctors often give up on any kind of improvement. But this could change that.
They called it plateauing, and I believe that if there's something there to work with, that you can always move past the plateauing.
At Ohio State University Medical Center, this is Clark Powell reporting.
Yeah, the tricep.
This study with the so-called bionic arm is being funded by the National Institute of Health. Doctors say early test results show that with repeated use with this device, some stroke patients may regain at least some movement in their arms. We'll be right back. Thanks so much for joining us on 15 News Now. You can see all the stories you saw today, plus more at our website. That's WSFD15.com. We'll see you next time right back here on 15 News Now.
When you see news happening in your area, let us know about it. You can call our news department at 573-701-9590 or email us at news@DawkinsBroadcastGroup.com.